At this time, Ron Paul must be considered a serious candidate by his philosophical enemies. Therefore, because these enemies have a history of murdering people who rise against them, there must be a growing consensus that he has to go. These people don't just issue a hit order. Rather, they gradually form a consensus, and their lackeys pick up on that consensus and implement it. In this way, there is no direct evidentiary path back to those who instigated the atrocity thereafter committed by said lackeys. For the killing of individuals, their mainstay for the past 100 years, at least, has been the lone nut. But I doubt that Ron Paul can be lone nutted because so many people have been educated to that gambit. I think they may come at him from a medical tack. That is, they put something in his food to make him ill enough to go to hospital, like a little innocuous botulism. Then, when he's in the designated kill room, their assassin injects a little magic disappearing heart stopper, and the emergency crew is unable to revive him. The people will, by and large, accept this form of murder because Ron Paul is old. At 76, a heart attack is considered probable, and they can say, "The strain of the debates and constant meetings and media appearances proved too much for this gallant defender of the Constitution. We shall all sorely miss his presence in Congress. Blah, blah, blah." So it's easy to get rid of him with little in the way of resistance. Certainly, some will cry foul, but they will be drowned out by the media and by the simple logic of old age. The tell will be the replacement of the normal Secret Service agents on the day of the poisoning and the presence of extra agents at the hospital and at the autopsy, etc. That is, the federal government would take over the investigation in the interest of national security, which means, as always, to get everybody out of the way of the cover-up. Something always goes wrong, so they need to control all evidence. All of our supposed evil agencies, like the CIA, FBI, Secret Service, have honest men and women working for them, though there are none at the top. These honest people are the enablers for the evildoers. They give the agency workability and credibility. That is, they do an honest job to the best of their ability. If these people all quit, the evil agencies would fail in their assigned everyday tasks by way of incompetence. Evil is always chronically incompetent. They need rational people around them to act as the skeletal structure that holds up their dripping, rotting flesh. What can be done is that a few people must make fools of themselves and always keep assassination as their public interest. Imagine a group of people holding up signs when Paul goes into the hospital like, "We know you're going to kill him, we know." Of course, they will be derided by the media, but their focus on assassination will give the murderers pause, especially if they have all the specifics laid out. For instance, if they say heart attack chemicals in the IV, it forces the murderers to rethink their use of heart attack chemistry. Every time a gamut is exposed to public light, it reduces their option of using it. They may go for the lone nut anyway. After all, it's the tried and true preferred method. No government plot using a lone nut has led to the arrest of the actual plotters. They've always been able to hold back the investigators, and when they have trouble, they can always pull out the national security card, thereby shutting down all further inquiry. This will be hard to do in the case of Ron Paul. When he is murdered early next year, before the Republican convention, they will have succeeded in putting out the fire, at least temporarily. Make no mistake here. If they think he's going to win the nomination, they're going to take crude physical action against him. If he wins, they all lose. It's the beginning of the end for them, and they know it. Everyone must talk about his assassination wherever Ron Paul goes, speculating on how they're going to kill him in whatever whistle stop he's at. If you go to a Ron Paul event, bring your camera. Take high-resolution photos of the crowd. You never know what you'll catch. Take video of everything, even things you regard as insignificant. When he is killed, there will be many federal agents all over the place. Those honest people who work for the evil agency will recognize the operatives and out them on the internet, if you provide the high-resolution photos for them to look at online anonymously. When the assassination occurs, the feds will try to confiscate all cameras to keep all that data off the internet. If you can upload as you film, that would be great. If not, change out your SD card and put it in your shoe or stuff it somewhere where you can retrieve it later, like underneath a rock or in a trash bin or in a hole in the ground. Put in another SD card and take pictures after the event so that the feds will think they confiscated everything you had and won't be able to trace anything to you. Go to any Ron Paul event prepared for the worst. Get your mind set on a possible assassination and practice quickly taking out the SD card in your camera and putting in another. You should be able to do this without looking. If you have something on your cell phone camera, shut off the phone and put it in your underwear in your crotch and try to walk normally. Throw away your cell phone belt holder so that you can tell the feds, "I don't have a cell phone." If there are lots of people, they may not frisk you. Make note of places where the police or feds don't want you to go. Film in that direction. They may try to isolate a Dealey Plaza so they can kill him there with more control, without interference. Try to go there. Sneak into that area if at all possible. Point out suspicious places and people to all those around you. Lots of eyes are better than just yours. If you film the actual assassination, make copies of your data and send them to people you know are in the truth movement in such a way that the trail doesn't lead back to you. Mail them anonymously, for instance, and keep your fingerprints off the envelope, as well as the DVDs or SD cards you send. Mail them from different mailboxes in a different city. After the film is widespread, you may or may not be safe. Don't tell your friends till after the film goes viral on the internet, and maybe never. They kill for revenge, too. If you are in a crowd awaiting the appearance of Ron Paul, don't look at him. Turn your back to him and look at the crowd. Hold your camera up and take pictures of them. If you are looking at Paul, you can't film the perpetrator, or perhaps even prevent the hit by grappling with the gunman. And if the gunman sees you eyeballing him, he may postpone the hit, realizing that he won't get off a clean shot. If you see the gun and have a chance, grab the gun with both hands and force the gunman to shoot up in the air. Don't worry that you won't have the strength. You will. If the gun is up, it's visible to others and they can hear clearly where the shots are coming from. If you force it down, it's problematic. But down is better than at. Once the shots are fired, you will get help in subduing the lone nut in less than 2 seconds. Stay with the gunman as long as you can. The feds will whisk him away as quickly as possible to prevent him from talking. If necessary, they'll dispose of him later, so there won't be any chance to get any information after he's taken away. Keep cameras rolling, and if you've gotten something worthwhile and they want it, try to run away from them. Don't give them any assistance in covering up the event. There's a good chance that Ron Paul can live if he survives the first assassination attempt. Once the line officers in the armed forces and the general issue get their backs up, it's over. The traitors in the military will get fragged as they were in Vietnam, and the fear will set in for the bad guys. They'll be on their heels and vastly outnumbered by those who are now conscious of their evil. And they now number in the tens of millions.